There is a concept in the study of logic which becomes deeply important to jurisprudence, the philosophy of law. The idea is the word cause. Causes can be separated into many kinds, but the relevant ones to discuss here is the difference between a sufficient and a necessary cause. A necessary cause is something that, in its absence, would prevent the effect or outcome from occurring. A sufficient cause is something that, on its own, ensures the effect or outcome will occur. A sufficient cause is a higher order of cause because it requires nothing else to prove guilt. If a warframe holds a gun, pulls the trigger, and fires on a corpus crewman, the act of firing the gun is a sufficient cause for the death and murder of that corpus crewman. If you break down that sufficient cause into all of its constituent parts, the gun, the aiming, the skill of shooting, etc., then you have what is called a jointly sufficient cause. All of the smaller causes are parts of one cause that is solely sufficient for the crime. A necessary cause is something that, on its own, is not enough to create the effect, but is, as the name suggests, necessary for the effect to occur. Without the necessary causes, in the context of crime, no crime would have occurred. Therefore, a person need not be entirely responsible for every aspect of a crime to also be guilty of a crime. If your own guilt is necessary for the crime to have happened at all, then you would also be guilty. For example, in the context of rebellion, if you hold a position of authority, then incite a group of people to anger, even if using a positive value like defending your country, encourage those people to arm themselves and be ready to fight, gather those people en masse at a single location, and then direct them to join you by marching on a nation's capital, we could say that the effect of a large group of armed, violent people marching on a nation's capital would not have occurred without the actions of that authority figure. The authority figure in this example is not solely responsible. All of those people also had to choose to listen to and follow the direction and implications of the authority figure. That authority figure's actions are, however, a necessary cause that, when taken with the actions of the people who carry out the rebellion, are jointly sufficient for the crime of rebellion. In Kullervo's case, he is accused of incepting the idea of Tenno rebellion against the Orokin in the traditional way, encouraging, arguing, and convincing people to stage a rebellion against the Orokin fascists. Perhaps Kullervo managed an audience with Nata. Perhaps he is the reason the Lotus thought to lead the Tenno rebellion in the first place.
As the Empire burned, you found the one executor you coveted and despised most.